All right, guys, it's Anthony Super Service. Dave and Katrina's truck. Wait on it all weekend, and Julie got me talked into go ahead and running and testing some other stuff. I'll run a compression test here in a minute. What we're at right now is I'm going to go ahead. Here's the old oil rail. I mean, we went ahead and took the oil rail off the standpipe. There's the standpipe. We're going to put a new standpipe, and we put nipple cup O-rings on a different oil rail. I got oil rails stacked everywhere. We got new nipple cup O-rings in this one right here, and we are going to replace the oil rail and the standpipe and the dummy plug. Put all new stuff on it. Compression is a little weird. Here, let's go through it and I'll show you. Hang on. Okay, we're going to start with number 8, because if you guys remember the problem cylinders, the 3 of them that were problem was 2, 4, and 6 on this side. Now, leak down, yeah, I mean, I honestly, for building compression, you know, it would blow past. A leak down would kind of be a moot point, because the compression should show a compression loss. So if that's the case and it's a moot point, doesn't matter. Get the freaking head off. Let's figure out why it has a compression loss, if that's the issue. Right now, I just want to see what it's actually building, which, yeah, I mean, we already barred it over and washed the rockers. I'll show that here in a minute. Let me get it set up. Hang on. I got to couple that on. That's kind of a pain in the butt to couple together with one hand. Hang on. Okay, here we go. We got, now make sure it's on. So we're going to wash these rockers, which I've already washed them. They're fine. I'll put this in the background so maybe you can see, the compression too. What I normally do is about 7 strokes and then max out. Make a mental note of where it's at 7 strokes. And so let's go ahead and do, it's the inside number. The inside number, the 200, the 400, that's compression for PSI. Go for it. All right, so we're 420 pounds. Cool. That's good. That's ridiculously healthy. I mean, you know, a problematic engine, you know, I mean, well, real problematic is 0, but, you know, I've seen them. I mean, 400, you couldn't ask for any better than 400. That's good. And we're a little above it, 420. So hang on. Okay, now we're in number 6, and this is the first problem cylinder. I mean, 2, 4, and 6 were problems. So, I mean, there's no way. I mean, it's, in my mind, I'm hoping that it's cam timing or something. I mean, I don't freaking know. I don't know. If I knew, I'd be already tearing this engine apart. Basically, what I'm doing right now is appeasing Julie, because she wants to double check everything, which I'm not opposed to it. I mean, why not? You know, if it saves us a bunch of time, then let's do that. But, you know, I've had all weekend to get my mind wrapped around. We're taking every nut and bolt off this thing and taking the cab off and pulling the engine back out. And I want to physically check cam timing. I want to know with my eyeballs. I want to see it, because I do not physically remember putting it on after the bed plate issue, when the bed plate wouldn't seat on right and we got it all freaked out. And it was. Okay, so this cylinder 6, first problematic cylinder. Go. Why did it drop down to 0? All right, so we're up 420. I wonder why it dropped to 0. I did have an issue on the first one I did where this button actually released. Let's try it. It's like a little Schrader valve. Do it again. There you go. All right, same thing, 420. That's freaking good. Yeah, that first one, it's this thing. Every now and then it'll take the first compression stroke and release it out of here. You saw in that second one when I went, it jumped almost 200 pounds on the first stroke. So let's go to cylinder 4. Okay, there you go. I'm put in. I'm on cylinder 4. Gotta hold out an angle, otherwise there's a glare. Let's make sure this thing is released. Make sure it's up. All right, go for it. I mean, there you go. I mean, damn. Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's good. Hang on. Okay, here we go. I'm not even going to do the passenger side. It's a moot point. Passenger side's all golden. Everything's good. All right, go to cylinder 2. There you go. I mean, it's good. I mean, compression's good. It's good. It's building good. It pumps 200 pounds in the first freaking stroke. All of them do. So as far as compression, I mean, let's just rule that right off the table. Hang on, get ready. I want to show. Let's look down in here. It's going to be kind of loud. Not that there's anything to be seen there, because the injectors do fire. They only stumble a little when you're right in the middle RPM range. Hard acceleration, they're golden, and idle, they're golden. Let's just look at the branch tube right down there. Okay, go. Okay, it's pumping oil. I mean, now I guess I could measure the height of the piston, basically try to degree the cam in at this point, but that much testing is a pain in the freaking butt. I'm not trying to degree cams in on a solid freaking geared cam. No, not trying to do it. I'd much rather just take the whole freaking thing apart, get the cab. I mean, this is a pretty much stock truck. He doesn't have a lot of aftermarket stuff on it, so we can have the cab off. I mean, it's, there's no C's, bolts, everything's all golden. I mean, it'd be real quick. And once again, this truck does have 500 miles on it right now. Since we did the refresh, we did a ball hone, rings and bearings, and heads. We did that work, and so it's got 500 miles on it with the fresh bearings. So, any contaminants we'll definitely look and see. I mean, wouldn't that freaking suck if a lobe on cylinders 1 or 2, 4, and 6, if there's a cam lobe that's starting to wipe? I call bullshit. There's no way that a cam lobe is going to go on all 3 cylinders. There's no way. It's not. I mean, anything can happen, but if that's the case, I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket right now, and I bet you it wins, because it's just not going to happen. I mean, we got something else going on causing the little stumble. I mean, it's just a little stumble too. I mean, we could have, it's just a little. I'm gonna be real sad. Honestly, we probably ought to throw an accelerator pedal on it, but honestly, there's no way in hell that an accelerator pedal is going to cause 3 injectors to drop. And I'm with you. Cam timing. If cam timing is off, it should throw all the cylinders off, because the valve events will either happen before or after when they're supposed to. It's either advanced or retarded. And so it should throw every single cylinder off. So the other option would be a tone ring on a crankshaft. If the engine's actually good and functioning good, but the only problem is when the crank sensor is supposed to read that tone ring right at the point where cylinder 2, 4, and 6 are at top dead center, or whenever in the valve event. I mean, if that's the case, then that's cab off, engine out anyways. I got to swap the crankshaft. It's just is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to, we could go ahead and you could, and it's actually an option. I'd want it definitely TIG welded, clean, because the cam gear or the crank tone ring is just pressed on. I mean, there's a dowel and it's pressed on. I mean, it's on pretty good. I've never had one fall off in operation of the truck, but things get funny when you got crankshafts actually moving around. I mean, I've never had an issue because of a tone ring, because of a crankshaft, which, that's not to say, but on the other side of that coin, I've also never had 3 cylinders not contributing to their fullest after we've went all the way through an engine. So I've never had this issue before. We do have, it's got all new wiring, new FICM and main engine harness. PCM has already been swapped, programmed. That's been tried. The FICM's already been swapped. That's trivial. I saw a couple of those comments on there about, And I don't want to sound like an asshole or nothing, but come on, guys. I mean, come on. When somebody suggests to try to change the harness or the fickum, I mean, I appreciate that, because, you know, I forget stuff and I get sidetracked and things fall out of my head at times, and the obvious stuff falls out. You know, which this we've already done it. I mean, it sucks. I mean, I really, really wish I could just, the logic side of the fickum was screwing up, and that's why I really wish that. Oh, that'd be awesome. But I mean, we've ruled that out. We've ruled that out. It's something else is going on. Don't know what it is. On the other side of that, this truck runs like a top. I mean, it runs good. I turned it all the way up and it ran real freaking good. You know, but I don't take this stuff lightly. I don't. There's a lot of hard-earned money that is invested in this truck, and it will not go. It can't go back. I mean, it can't go back until, you know, I mean, I want to feel good about it. I want to sleep good at night, and so in order for that to happen, you know, we got to go through a little bit of heartache on this one, I guess, which, absolute bummer. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty much, we've ran compression. I haven't done a leak down, but, you know, it built compression quick. I mean, you know, even if there is a leaking valve somewhere, it's not a big leak. You know, it's got to be something on timing, valve events, electronic controlled ignition, basic type of setup, right? You know, it's, something's not happy. I mean, whether it be throttle pedal, I mean, that'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? Yank this freaking engine out and all it's wind up being is a throttle pedal. Oh yeah, I mean, but you know what? At the end of the day, I mean, I want everybody that puts their faith in us that we're going to do everything we can to give them an enjoyable ownership of the truck. I want them to know that I'm just because something's hard doesn't mean we're not willing to do it. We'll rip this off. We'll take this thing all the way apart. I promise you that right now. I promise you we'll take it all the way apart. Start all over. I'll swap the engine blocks, swap the crankshaft. We'll build a whole new freaking engine. I really, really, really don't want to do that, because there's only so many times you can invest in jobs like this. You know, I mean, just like Dave and Katrina have invested in the job, so have we. You know, we've invested in it too, and I do not want this job to be have a sour taste in anybody's mouth about the job. You know, granted, I mean, I got a sour taste about it right now because it's bumming me out, and but depending on how we treat it, we'll decide whether or not Dave and Katrina have a sour taste. Don't want that to happen. So we're willing to do whatever, but I do not want, I want to make sure that we've covered bases. That's true. That's what Julie's doing. She's trying to hound on me a little bit, make sure that I actually have gone through and exhausted all other options before we go to cab off, engine out. Because there is no way to check cam timing. I'm not checking cam timing with this cab on. Not going to happen. I mean, the hardest part is going to be making the decision to take this cab off. I mean, you know, it's going to cost, it costs about a total of 3 days is probably what it would cost. 3 days of thrashing. Once we make the decision. Once we make the decision what we're going to go, but man, I can't even imagine how bummed out I'm going to be if I put that bracket on the back for the cam timing and it's lined up. Oh yeah. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'll be, it might be, I mean, I don't know. You know, this had all kinds of bad injectors. We went back and watched the video from the beginning, but it did not have, I mean, it didn't have 2, 4, and 6, right? 2, 4, and 6 were, I mean, 6 was a little shaky. 2 and 4 were over fueling before we tore it apart. So, you know, with that's not there, I mean, something else has been missed. I mean, these injectors have already been replaced. These 3, we've already tore into this truck and replaced the injectors since we've had it running. And, you know, that's the first thing we do, right? Okay. I mean, chances are you got 1 bad injector, fine. But no way in hell you got 3 injectors out of a set of Ford remans No way 3 out of 8 are bad. We're not talking about aftermarket injector companies. If you bought this from, if we would have bought these injectors from an aftermarket company and 3 of them were bad, I would have chalked it up, because I've seen it before. From all them damn companies, all of them, everywhere that you buy one. Well, I haven't seen all of them, but all the ones I've seen, it is not far-fetched for 3 to be bad right out of the gate. But not Ford remans. It's not far-fetched 1 to screw up, but your percentages are way better with a Ford reman that they're going to be all good. So, but we wanted to go ahead and do it, you know. So we swapped all 3 of them back out again. And at that time, we decided to go ahead and put a Fickham harness on it, because we already had the main engine harness. His Fickham harness did not look that bad. It looked pretty good. So we figured we'd let it ride, maybe save him, you know, $200-300 on a Fickham harness. And then once we had this secondary problem, no way, that harness is gone. Forget about it. You get a new harness. And so next I'm going to spend about 5 more minutes sitting here thinking, seeing if some jewel of information will come up to me. You know, I mean, I might even maybe I ought to put a dial gauge up on the top. But I mean, with the geometry of the rocker, it's kind of difficult. I mean, we could check right at the valve bridge. I could check the valve bridge and see what the valve opening is, and check valve openings on all of them. I mean, we could. Honestly, at that point, though, you're kind of just pissing in the wind, stalling. I mean, because if there's an issue with a valve opening when we pull that cylinder head off, you know, it could be a bent push rod, something bent, something. We'll see it. I mean, we'll see it. You know, a lot of this stuff you will physically see with your eyeballs. I mean, I will. I mean, I'll see it. But 3 cylinders, a push rod bent. I ain't never bent a push rod before on assembly of one of these engines. Like, not on assembly, on the first fire up. I hear about people breaking rockers and doing all kinds of shit, because who knows why. But I have never had a rocker arm or push rod or valve train. I mean, I had a lifter collapse, but never had a bent push rod on fire up. You know, so the odds of having all 3, a push rod on all 3 cylinders screw up is unfreaking godly. No way. No way. I mean, now the odds of having all 3, a lobe on all 3 cams, causing the lift to not be good. If that's the case, then the time I would spend setting up the dial gauge on the valve bridge is a moot point, because it's got to come apart anyways. So we're going to take it apart. There's no use in testing things that we can see with our eyeballs. That's what I'm getting at. We're doing is stalling at that point. I mean, yeah. So I don't know, long video. I do not take this lightly. I want everybody, I want Dave and Katrina to know that we are, I mean, as of right now, for the past 4 days, I've been doing more mind work, just racking my brain. What can we do? More than I have been actually working on it. But I think we're getting ready to go ahead and just start freaking working on it. I'll start doing it, make it happen, tear it apart, and hope like hell that we see something that messed up. Whether it be a tone ring on a crank, cam timing off. I'm with you on cam timing, though. I'm with a lot of you guys. I saw those comments. Cam timing should throw all the cylinders off. They should all be off, not just those 3. But you know what? I got to have a pipe dream somewhere. I mean, I got to have something. I mean, you know, I got to have an idea. There's got to be something. There's no way we're just going to let it just, yeah. I don't know. All right, guys, that's it. I'm done ranting. So we're going to keep going. When I find it, y'all know, I'll show it. I mean, if it's something I screwed up, hey, it's something I screwed up. I mean, there's a reason why, you know, I wasn't the one on the cross getting crucified. I ain't perfect. I mean, it wasn't me. You know, that guy's not me. I try as hard as I can, but sometimes it ain't good enough. I mean, it's just nature of the beast. It is what it is. But we try as hard as we can. All right, guys. We'll update later.